come on. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Friday. Go ahead, computer. Change the output so you stop playing it on my desk. Play it in the... Bruh. All right, good morning. Alexa, stop. That'll be enough. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. This is Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, coming to you live from the Buffer Auger Flow studio. In the next hour, you stick with us. You're going to get the top cyber news stories of the day, hot takes on all those stories, community engagement, tips, tricks, lessons, and all that and more. And you might even get a couple rib ticklers. I promise you're going to have a good time one way or another. I'm Jerry, your chat. Let's get cooking, everybody. Let's go. All right, good morning. The nice thing is, during the little video overlays, I'm able to shuck and jive and hustle and flow over here, and got it all sorted out so you can hear the music playing underneath me. Good morning, everybody. We're going to go through 8 cyber stories today. Guess what? I haven't researched or prepped for any of them. Do you know why? I'll give you one guess.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
100% ain't nobody got time for that, but that's okay. We've been able to do it 1,062 times in a row, or today is 1062. So 1,061 times successfully in the past. And today's going to be no different. I promise you, you are in good hands for a great show, a great experience today. If today's your first episode, welcome to the party, pal. Drop a hashtag first timer in chat. Hashtag first timer in chat. We have a special sound effect, a special emote. All those green names, all those blue names, they know exactly what to do. And welcome everybody. And if you're a longtime member of the community, please be kind and welcome others into the community. It's all about good times. Please remember the first time you showed up, hopefully we greeted you with open arms and inclusion and all the good things. Every episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth 1/2 of a CPE, a continuing professional education credit, which you only need if you are maintaining cybersecurity certification. So if that's you, say what's up in chat and then grab a screenshot. You can hit Windows key S. I'm sure there's a Mac equivalent. You Linux people, I don't know, take your phone out and take a screenshot of the monitor. I don't know what Linux has got cooking, but make sure that you include the episode number and today's date, which is all in the title of the show. So right beneath the screen showing this. So basically right over there, down there, right? Get that in there, file it away. You do it once a day. It takes 2 seconds, literally 2 seconds. And, once a year you submit those CPEs. And if and only if you get audited, you'll have all the evidence. As a former auditor, believe me, I know exactly what those auditors are going to want. I'm giving you the secret answers to the quiz over here. I want to say really quick, just a shout out to, there's so many regular Simply Cyber community members showing up every single day. So it's great to see you all. I just saw Nerman's name fly by. If you guys don't know Nerman's good people, man. I'm a big fan of Nerman. All right, so we got CPEs, we got first timers. We got, I don't research or prep for the show. Super Bowl's this weekend. If you're going to watch it, I am absolutely going to watch it. Matt Stafford getting the MVP over Drake May. I'm calling shenanigans. I think it was a political thing. Not like Republicans and Democrats, but like Matt Stafford's at the end of his career. He never really got his flowers. I know he won a Super Bowl, but Marcus Kyler, it's probably just hate. Because Drake May didn't get it, but I don't know. I feel like Drake May elevated the Patriots. All right, guys. Hey, real quick, every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE, but I'm able to bring this show to you. I'm able to give CPEs out. I'm able to tickle your ribs with James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. I'm able to give away prizes on Mondays and other days because of the stream sponsors. So please let me tell you about them for a hot minute. And basically, Justin Gold and Nerman are good friends. Listen, stream sponsors, they allow me to do this. If you want to support the channel, please click the links in the description below. Go check out. I make the links very easy, so you could just type them in yourself. So first, let me tell you about Material. Oh my God. Hold on. One of our February sponsors, February 2026. Listen, y'all. Cloud workspace security is wicked hard. Email security alone stops phishing at the perimeter, but that's not enough. Today's threats target email, files, and accounts across your entire workspace. You know this. Material Security, our sponsor, they protect Google Workspace and Microsoft 365 by providing holistic visibility and automated remediation across your cloud environment. It goes beyond phishing protection to detect and protect sensitive data, monitor account threats, respond to risks across the workspace. Material uses advanced AI detections, automates user report triages, and delivers flexible one-click remediations for email, file, and account issues. Best of all, this is the best part. It scales your security without scaling your team. So more value without the headcount. Protect your entire workspace for the cost of traditional email security. If you want to learn more, go to simplycyber.io/material. Simplycyber.io/material. Again, the whole deal here is if your organization is using Google Workspaces or Office 365, you can basically get additional protections and security without, just by kind of shuffling around the dollars, not so much adding budget. Okay, very good, very good. All right, also want to say what up to Anti-Siphon Training. Guys, many of you know that the Wild West Mile High Fest, or I forget what they call it. It's like Wild West Hackin' Fest Mile High there it is, yeah. This is next week. There is still opportunity. Say your plans have changed. You've got training dollars that are going to expire. You were supposed to work on a project next week and it's been delayed because whatever reasons. There's still time to get in on some virtual training for Wild West Hackin' Fest Mile High. You could see, hold on, look at all this different training. It's kind of bananas. Hayden Covington was here yesterday, and he is doing one of the trainings. So if you want to be like a SOC analyst and engineer, you can attend all the talks virtually. You can do AD security and hardening. Here, I'm going to drop I can't really drop a link because this is like a URL from like a Wes Craven movie in the 80s. But just believe me when I tell you, there is an entire kit and caboodle of training opportunities next week. You want to learn how to build a C2 framework and go? Done. Security ops with Hayden Covington? Why not? AD fundamentals? Sure. There's something for everybody at the training for Wild West Hackin' Fest Mile High. So go check that out and enjoy. If you're going to the conference, do high five other Simply Cyber community members. If you're going alone or you don't have a crew yet, go onto the Discord server, simplycyber.io/Discord, and there's a con chat, con chat, not to be confused with Captain Kirk con chat, which we don't have one of those, but we should. And you can connect with other Simply Cyber community members going to Mile High. We had an issue last year at that conference, so hopefully this year is conflict free. I'm not going to get into it, so please don't ask me. But if you were involved with the issue last year, that you know what I'm talking about. So anyways, I also want to say shout out to Flare. Now, dude, I got to tell you, I think Flare is phenomenal. We've been talking about Flare Academy for a hot minute, but their cyber threat intelligence platform is super dope. I've used it. I made a video about it. I liked it so much. And you can get a 2-week free trial, which is more than enough time to do a bake-off of this platform. The people behind Flare are cool. And I'm not saying this because they paid to be a sponsor. I'm saying this because I feel this way. The people at Flare are cool. The platform is useful. The information that they're garnering has value. So I would recommend anyone check it out for the 2-week trial. They do have to validate your identity because if you're a criminal, dude, like this is like an absolute thirst trap for a cyber criminal. The amount of information in here is like an easy button for, initial access brokers. So they do validate your identity. Go to simplycyber.io/flare. Holy crap.
Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
Jesus, my hair got blown back there. Real Bilbo. Real Bilbo coming off the top rope with a $50 super chat. Thank you very much, Real Bilbo. The community slay. I'm 45 days into a new gig, which I found implementing Jerry's LinkedIn pre-hire process interview in 90 days to success. Friends, Jerry has a video for everything. My life was forever changed thanks to Jerry and team. Bilbo, I don't swear, or I try not to swear on this show, but I got to tell you, I would love to drop an effing right bomb right now, dude. So happy for you, Bilbo. If you guys don't know Real Bilbo, his name's Bill. He's a great guy, longtime Simply Cyber community member, just phenomenal. And I'm very happy that he was able to transition employment and crush it. And now he's just absolutely slaying like an absolute boss. Real Bilbo, my man. And also, well, I'm not going to share your personal stuff, Real, but Bilbo's had some really high wins in his personal life too. Big W's going on. So super pumped for that guy, just crushing life right now. All right, guys. We did anti-siphon material flare. Let's hear from ThreatLocker really quickly. And then get some sunblock because I'm absolutely going to melt your face with a hot cyber news. All right. Get sunblock SPF 500 because I'm going nuclear with my hot takes today. All right, let's hear from ThreatLocker for real. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com/dailycyber. All right, my friends, stay tuned for the mid-roll where James McQuiggan's going to tell us some jokes. But right now, I got one thing for you. Directions, very clear. I need you to sit back. I need you to relax. I need you to reach down and grab that lever that reclines your Barker lounger. I need you to relax. And then let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over you in an awesome wave. I will see all of you at the mid-roll. Let's go. Let's cook.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, February 6th, 2026. I'm Sarah Lane. Substack admits data breach. Substack is notifying users of a data breach after attackers accessed email addresses, phone numbers, and internal metadata back in October. Substack CEO Chris Best says the issue was only discovered this week, and there's no evidence that passwords or financial data were accessed. A threat actor has since posted a database with around 697,000 records online. Substack says it's fixed the flaw and is warning users about potential phishing.
All right, so gifted subs from Real Bilbo. Thank you, Real Bilbo. If you're one of the 10 recipients of the gifted subs, like Terrence Billingsley and Chad Green, Justin Woods, Chop the Joy, like you can access your emote tray and notice that there's a bunch of additions in there. Thank you very much, Real Bilbo. And yes, you get a membership. You get a membership. The old Oprah emotes. The Oprah one's got like some wear around the edges because we use it so often. I love it. All right, so Substack, very popular blogging platform. If you've listened to me talk about personal branding and the need for it in 2026, Substack is one of those platforms that's phenomenal. Also, I've seen a lot of like content creators that do shorts and stuff, like talking head shorts. They'll give like a little taster and they'll say, full story on my Substack, link in bio. So like the Substack is like the call to action, and people are using social media as kind of like the little, like, God, this is like such a callback, but like back in the day, I mean, they probably still do this in some places, but like usually at malls in the food court, the roly-boly people or the hibachi place is standing out there with like little tasters with a toothpick in it. A lot of people are using social media for that toothpick thing, and then the hibachi counter is where the Substack is. So definitely a legit platform. They got hacked. Of course, there's nobody can be 100% secure and be practical. You know it's legit. I say this all the time. If you see this anime avatar for the profile picture, the person's a legit hacker. Like, I feel like if you use this and you're not legit, the cyber criminal underground are going to like flame you basically. So what did they get here? Data compromised, email, phone number, name, user ID, Stripe ID, profile picture, bio. Okay. So basic, starter kit for phishing, no passwords, no financial information, none of that. Be on the lookout. You could get an email of, oh, hey, like, like your Substack account was hacked. Like, click here to reset your password, and then they get your password, right? Kind of on the nose type attacks. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like this story is fine. It's a big platform. Change your password, like, whatever. Like, the password wasn't even compromised. It's just, you should always be on the lookout for phishing emails, right? It doesn't matter if your Substack was hacked. It's like, you know what I mean? Like tomorrow it could be Beehive, and the next day it could be LinkedIn, and the next day it could be Gmail. Like it's, if you're taking some action and reacting differently because of this story, I mean, I guess today, today's a good day to start doing basic cyber hygiene, so this, I mean, whatever. This is like a fine story,
Russian attacks target Winter Olympics.
Whoa.
Italy's more.
Did we just become best friends?
Robert Hendrickson with a super chat. Thank you. Robert says, I found your show and channel 6 months ago. It changed my life for the better, and you rock. It led me to get what I consider my dream job. Hell yeah, dude. I didn't know that, Robert. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing that with us. And obviously, thank you for the super chat. It goes to help support the show, but I didn't know it led to your dream job. God, like I'm gonna get misty-eyed up in here, man. That's awesome. That is, oh yeah, here we go. I came in like a oh, dude, this is why I do Simply Cyber. Yes, like, I was able to like quit my job and focus fully on this, and it makes money, and I'm able to, do fun stuff and make content and everything. But like the whole reason I started Simply Cyber, like December 2019, the whole reason was to help people. And like, it's just awesome. Thank you, Robert.
Foreign minister says cyber attacks of Russian origin have targeted foreign ministry sites and infrastructure linked to the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics, including hotels, though officials say the attacks were blocked. No details were given on whether the activity was state-backed. The warning comes as the UK urges organizations not to underestimate pro-Russia activists, and as Cloudflare's CEO threatens to pull free services for the games after Italy fined the company 14 million euros for anti-piracy violations.
All right, so 2 things here and then 1 editorial thing. Number 1, like anytime there's a global event like the Olympics or the FIFA World Cup or a geopolitical conflict like Russia invading Ukraine, Palestine, Israel type stuff, there's always like a massive uptick in cyber criminal activity. And it could be like phishing emails that are targeting, hey, like here's, watch the Olympics free here, or, whatever, answer this quiz and like figure out which Olympic sport you would play, or whatever. It's just an increase, right? So like if someone sends an email last year about the Olympics, it's going to hit less because it's not top of mind for people, right? So always be on the lookout. I always tell people, like whatever's hot right now, like even with COVID and the stimulus checks and stuff and the vaccines, like there was a ton of phishing email going around with all that stuff. So be mindful of that. Now, because of this, because it's on the world stage, and there's lots of countries looking at it, it is another opportunity where you get ideologically motivated hacktivists that are trying to like basically get their mission or get their what's the word I'm looking for? Get their cause like announced on the world stage, right? So it's like no different than like like in the 80s, this was like a thing, but like there'd be like a really famous person coming out of a movie premiere when we used to care about movie celebrities. And like someone would run up and throw like a bucket of red paint on them because they were wearing like a fur coat and be like, meat is murder. Ah! Right. So like it's an opportunity to have way more awareness. It's a marketing opportunity basically for these ideologically motivated individuals. Of course, I actually know somebody. What a flex, Jerry. I know someone who is actually responsible for cybersecurity at the Olympics at Lillehammer. I think it was Lillehammer. It was definitely a Winter Olympics, and it was definitely in Europe. I think it was Lillehammer. Unless were the Olympics in Italy like 15 years ago, 16 years ago or so? And whatever, it doesn't even freaking matter. Anyways, this individual was responsible. I had breakfast with this guy, and he told me all sorts of really interesting things. So like when I tell you that the Olympics, cybersecurity is a top priority, it is a top priority. And kind of fun fact, they have a bunch of different like independent systems, but the one that is the most important, surprisingly to me, and I don't even know if this is like I'm supposed to say this, but like the one that's most important, actually I'm not going to say it because I don't even know if I'm cleared to say this. Please disregard what I just said. I'm going to have to check with him. I'll check with him and I'll text him and then I'll ask if it's something I can share publicly. Here's the third and final thing. And by the way, I don't know if we missed any first timers here. So if you're a first timer, I'm pretty sure it was Lillehammer, Code Brew. If you're a first timer here, drop a hashtag first timer in chat. I just want to make sure that we welcome you properly. So here's a quick, like, I don't even want to call it a tinfoil hat moment, but it is a little bit of an editorial. I try to keep on brand and make sure that I give you guys go beyond the headlines because you can read the story on your own. So what's the point of listening to me yap about it? I go beyond the headlines. I don't know if it's because there's a lot of way more important things going on in the United States right now, politically speaking and socially speaking, but or if it's just, Bob Dylan, times are a-changing, but like I'm old, okay, guys, I'm 46, okay? I remember the Olympics was like a pivotal event. Like the Olympics are coming, like everybody like stop everything you're doing. The Olympics are coming. And now like I might not even watch this Olympics. Like I'll probably like DVR or TiVo curling because I like watching curling for some reason. But like I don't know about you guys, but like, and I hate to sound like, I guess, unpatriotic, but like, I just don't care about the Olympics right now. I saw a commercial for it and I'm like, nah. So I don't know what it is. If you have a thought about the Olympics, let me know. But to me, I found it unusual yesterday when I saw an ad for the Olympics and I was like, like I actually find that I don't care. That's weird. It's weird to me. It used to be such a big deal. All right. Hey, we got a first timer in chat. Thomas Cawley, welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right.
GitHub codespaces enable RCE Orca Security says attackers can achieve remote code execution in GitHub codespaces by tricking developers into opening a malicious repository or a pull request. The researchers found that default configuration files can automatically run commands on startup, letting attackers steal tokens, access secrets, and potentially move laterally across enterprise environments. Orca warns developers should treat repository-supplied configs as untrusted. Russia.
All right. I was reading DMs right there. Hold on, let me text this guy. Well, actually, I'll do it when the mid-roll plays. Oh my God. All right. Malicious commands in GitHub codespace enable remote code execution. No kidding. Guys, listen. The secret's out. Criminals have figured out they can just put a PowerShell cradle into, a GitHub repo or some code, and you or your AI clawbot is going to pull it down and run it under all the permissions you've given it. So if you've given it like carte blanche super user privileges, because I want my AI bot to do all the things for me now. I'm going to go recline on a beach somewhere and just let the money flow in. Threat actors know this, and they're straight up doing all the things. Steve Young, you're a curler? Brosif. I love, basically, the reason I like curling, and this is a terrible reason, but it's basically like a bar sport. Like, I can sit around at a bar and watch people play darts. I can sit around and watch people play foosball. And curling's basically just like glorified shuffleboard, right? I mean, let's be real here. I know they have the fancy shoes and, the commands where they scream at each other, but it's just, to me, it's a relaxing sport to watch. But also, I feel like it's accessible, right? I feel like I could do curling. Like, I certainly can't do the high jump or the long jump or anything that involves jumping them out. Ice hockey, no. The ski one where you go like 90 miles an hour down a ramp and then hit it and then you just like fly. I'm not doing that. But curling, give me a broom, Steve. All right, so GitHub codespaces has RCEs. Here's what I would recommend. They're embedding malicious commands in files which are triggering. I'm just telling you. The problem is, this is a real problem. Developers were not looking at code they were importing already, and now you're having AI pull the codes down, and you're definitely not looking. I don't know if it's possible to. I'll find out because I'm rolling out one of these Claude bots myself, but I don't know if it's possible to ask the Claude bot to review any code that you're importing for potential malicious commands. That would be like a really useful use of AI, since me, we're not going to be able to review all the code and quickly discern if there's malicious functionality in there. But an AI, it could do better than me. So that's actually kind of a hot take or something, or if someone already figured that out, but that's what I would do. But yeah, no, this is like 100% what it is. And then what are they doing? RCE, remote code execution. They're going to basically, the first thing they're going to do is reach out and pull down second stage payloads, infect your machine, and then either steal your API tokens and use your Claude API code, your Pro Max plan, and run it for their own goods. They look for crypto, look for credentials, move laterally through your environment, drop ransomware. It's like basically you're screwed. And by the way, like another thing to think about, when we think about users in our environment just standing up AI bots, especially OpenClaw, if you have someone in your company, this is like a call to arms, dude. You should be looking for people running OpenClaw in your work environment. It is not a good idea to let them do that. You should stop that ASAP. And I'm just telling you right now, like, if you allow like these AI bots without any kind of oversight, you could have them running remote code execution, cyber criminal activity, and infecting the crap out of your organization. And sure, maybe your EDR catches it through behavior analysis, but like, why are you taking on that risk? A lot of the AI risk and AI governance that I've been talking about is much more around data security. So like, Justin Gold takes an export from Simply Cyber Academy, right? And then uploads it to ChatGPT to do analysis. That's the kind of concerns I'm thinking about as a GRC person in data sovereignty and data governance. But like as a, tactical, my environment is compromised. That is another risk that is now in my landscape because the AI, people are installing AI bots and agents locally on their own systems to do things. And I honestly feel like agents already existed and people were kind of doing it, but it was almost for, I don't want to call it like advanced technical people, but you did have to have a level of technical acumen to be able to run up agents. And this OpenClaw has basically lowered the barrier to entry where literally, my Aunt Dorothea, I love my Aunt Dorothea. She's not the most technically savvy person. Okay. And that's not to disparage her. It's just I'm sure you all have your own Aunt Dorotheas, right? OpenClaw makes it very easy. Like you literally run one line of a PowerShell command and it pulls down a payload. It's not even essentially, that's exactly what it's doing. It runs a PowerShell command that pulls down a PowerShell file and runs it, just like threat actors download second stage payloads. It's the same thing. So because the barrier to entry is lowered, your likelihood of exploitation is much higher. So be on the lookout for that stuff, okay? BW5542, as far as OpenClaw goes, that payload, hold on. It's kind of hard because my thumb still hurts, but like, this right here. See this one-liner right here? This is the payload. This is the PowerShell payload. This is a PowerShell cradle that is going to run. It's going to say, go get this PowerShell file and then execute it on the box. So what I would do is look for openclaw.ai/install.ps1 in your log files. You may even want to go next level and just straight up tell your EDR that this is, like, if you see this command, you should not execute it or prevent the PowerShell from firing right afterwards. You'd have to so because you can download this, if you don't do this unless you know what you're doing, okay? But if you run this command right here without the pipe IEX, you'll just pull it down. The IEX is executed, right? So you could technically pull down this PowerShell file, open it up in a text editor, and then look at what the commands are and then build detections around that as well. But make sure you know what you're doing, okay? You don't want to accidentally pop your you don't want to be Plaxico Burris, okay? Nobody wants that. And I'm probably dating myself, but November 2008, Plaxico Burris. I just, for those who are watching on video, I'll just leave this here. Plaxico Burris, he did a thing, and I'll bring this up every time I can because he was on that 2007 Giants team that defeated the, at the time, undefeated New England Patriots, which had one of the all-time amazing Brady, Randy Moss teams.
Used Starlink terminals are now deactivated. Ukraine says its new Starlink whitelist system is now stopping Russian military use of the satellite internet network and has already cut off access for unverified terminals, following the impact of yesterday's move to disconnect unauthorized devices. Approved terminals on the whitelist are operational, but Russian ones have been blocked, and verified lists are being updated daily as part of the ongoing registration process.
All right, so we talked about this yesterday. Russian drones. They're basically sticking a Starlink receiver on it. So again, I'm being hyperbolic and paraphrasing a little bit, but my understanding is they're putting the Starlink receiver on top of the drone, and then they're putting like a grenade or C4 or landmine or claymore or whatever, a bomb underneath it, and then they're flying it directly into like Ukrainian soldiers. As you can imagine, that doesn't turn out very well for the military target, right? Putting metal on foreheads, I think, is what the U.S. military says. So they're using application allow listing probably on the MAC addresses, if I had to guess, or, the unique wireless NICs of these Starlink terminals. And that is causing the Russian drones to basically not have internet access and, make it unable to control. This is fine. I actually was talking to my cadets about this yesterday because we're talking about denial of service attacks and how most people think of denial of service attacks as just spewing a lot of network data at an endpoint. But this is a denial of service attack as well. Like Ukraine's allow only list is denying the Russian drones access to the Starlink network. Again, I'm going to guess. Again, I'm no great shakes, but I'm going to guess that Russia is working on warheads on foreheads. Okay, thank you. I'm getting mocked in chat over here. I'm going to guess that the Russians are going to find a way to either spoof their MAC address so that it appears on the allow list, or they're going to come up with probably easier, some type of alternative internet access to control the drones. Again, Starlink is a privately owned company. They are into making money. So, hopefully, they choose righteousness over there, but I'm glad that the Russians aren't able to fly drones into citizens, right? But and just to be clear, Ukraine is defending their country, okay? So like they're defending an invasion. Ukraine is using drones with munitions on it too. So like I'm not chastising the use of that as a military capability. I'm just saying it is an interesting cyber capability and kind of a classic throwback to yesteryear on how to protect the network, for lack of a better term, right? Allow listing is very difficult, right? Because every special snowflake in your business wants to run their own special app, and then you end up managing this unmanageable list of applications. So just be mindful of that.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, Strike 48. It's no secret that AI is only as good as the data available to it. Strike 48 unifies agentic AI with unmatched log visibility while avoiding the typical hefty price tag. Build and deploy agents for phishing detection, alert triage, threat correlation, and more. Query existing logs where they currently live so you can keep the technology you already have. Learn more at strike48.com.
All right, so I texted my informant. I texted my smoking man in the gray jacket, or whatever you guys want to call my secret friend, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Let's do this. All right, hey, Thomas Cawley every single day of the week has a special segment. Fridays we tell jokes. Guys, again, thank you to the stream sponsors, ThreatLocker, Anti-Siphon, Flare, and Material Security. Links in the description below. Clicking on them does help support the channel. It makes a material impact on helping the channel. So if you have gotten value from the show, whether it's your first day or long time, and you want to support, you don't have to send money. You can just click on the links, and that is incredibly helpful, okay? It was an X-Files reference. Okay. So I think this guy, honestly, is, I don't know where he is. He's been traveling to Europe a lot lately, and it's afternoon there, so he should be responsive. All right, so check it out. Every single day of the week has a special segment, and guess what? This guy, James McQuiggan, 35,000 feet. If you see this guy in the wild, definitely give him a high five and let him know that you have spotted him, chances are he'll give you a sticker that says you spotted James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. Very difficult sticker to get for the laptop. Hey, when an okay, so this is the jokes of the week, okay? When an optimist sees a glass half full and a pessimist sees the glass as half empty, how does Microsoft see it? Jesus Christ. I don't read these jokes in advance, so I'm all right. So when an optimist sees a glass half full and a pessimist sees it as half empty, how does Microsoft see it? Microsoft, they see it Excel as January 2nd. They see it Excel as January 2nd, 1/2. I had to put some thoughts on that one. What do calendars eat? Very straightforward. What do calendars eat? If you're taking a calendar out for a date, or you've been hired to babysit your friend's kids and they happen to be calendars, not humans, what do you feed them? Dates. You feed them dates. Okay. What's the best? What is the best outfit to wear on February 2nd? February 2nd is National Ballerina Day because it's appropriate to wear a tutu. Tutu. February 2nd, tutu. Why are calendar puns so bad? Why are calendar puns so bad? Because obviously, much like me, they're so weak and dated. They're so weak and dated. All right, so James is going at 35,000 feet. If you don't like the jokes, take them up with James. Don't hold me accountable. I am merely the vessel that delivers the jokes. I'm joking. Thanks so much, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. Love having the jokes of the day. And love it. All right, let's finish strong, everybody.
Cyber espionage operation targets governments worldwide. Palo Alto Networks Unit 42 says an Asia-based cyber espionage group reached at least 37 governments and conducted reconnaissance in 155 countries, calling it one of the most widespread state-linked compromises since SolarWinds. Telecom firms, police, ministries, and even a parliament were accessed. Researchers say the campaign focused on espionage and data theft, using phishing and common tools like Cobalt Strike across varied targets. Conpet discloses cyber.
Hold on, my guy in the my undercover operator just texted back and said I can share this information. Okay, so check it out really quickly. Researchers uncover vast cyber espionage operation, dozens of governments targeted. Awesome. Without even going any further, immediately China. Okay, like it's China until proven otherwise. They are aces at espionage. And when you're attacking 37 different governments across 155 countries, chances are you are a nation state threat actor with lots of resources, including time, money, and people. All right. So Pete Renals, director of national security programs at Unit 42, declined to attribute the specific country. So the story does not say China. I'm saying China. Okay, so with Jerry at Simply Cyber says this. This is a pretty big deal, though. I mean, he is saying it's the most widespread and significant compromise of global government infrastructure since SolarWinds. You guys know how I feel about SolarWinds. So hot. Ugh.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
So I wonder how they got this telemetry. I mean, all right. So Reynolds, who doesn't want to attribute to a country, does compare it to the recent Chinese campaigns, Volt Typhoon and Salt Typhoon. So again, not attributing it anywhere, but seems like it's quite similar to. All right. Dia Yu, Unit 42 first discovered the campaign when it was investigating a series of phishing attacks targeting European governments early last year. So this has been going on for 12 months. Unit 42 has been tracking it. The company determined it was based in Asia due to the regional tools, language settings, etc. Again, not attributing it to anyone, but a lot of indicators would point to one specific nation state threat actor that's excellent at espionage. All right. Metadata shows the file was previously named Dayu, the Chinese word for phishing. Oh my God. Oh my God. So this is like straight up insulting the intelligence of the European governments. Literally, the file that was used as part of like, here's a malicious email with an attachment, and the file's called phishing. Hey, idiot, click on this phishing email. It's called phishing, and it works. Okay. Cobalt Strike payload. Cobalt Strike's a enterprise grade C2. If you think that criminals can't use it, you're wrong. They just stand up shell companies and then purchase it over the wire. Over the counter. All right. Here's the reality. Okay, guys. This is interesting. This story should continue to be reported on. I would imagine now that Palo Alto Unit 42 has come out and shared this, I would imagine there'll be more information, more research, more IOCs coming out. If you are responsible for protecting federal government installations, federal government infrastructure and users, because they're obviously targeting federal employees through email. If you are responsible for people that have .gov email addresses, you should be on the lookout for this. Again, the thing is, when you have sophisticated nation-state-backed military operators, they are going to have time, money, resources. The thing is, their mission is to get into the Chechnya government. The difference between cyber criminals and nation-state threat actors is a cyber criminal. If they can't get into your email, they just go to the next victim. They don't care. They want straight cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie.
A nation state, the guy or the lady at the keyboard has been told by their superior officer, your mission is to break into this account. Don't come back until it's done. So it doesn't matter if it takes a day, a week, a month. It doesn't matter if you need special tooling or whatever. Your job is to do that, and they're going to keep doing it. So obviously the likelihood's going to go up because you're going to have a persistent threat actor, which is why you need defense in depth on these federal controls. Great email security gateways, great education of your end users around, hey, you are the target of a nation state. Be on the lookout for things like this, weird attachments, emails with attachments called phishing. That would be an indicator, okay, for real. Now, again, the word is Dayu, which is Chinese for phishing, and I don't expect, whatever, I don't know, Johnny Dutch to read Chinese. I wouldn't know if I saw Dayu, but like, my point is just, we need consistent vigilance around not best practices, but like cyber risk mitigation up and down the stack. Protect your people, protect your process, protect your technologies, and be ready to respond. Go check out this article by Unit 42. There may be indicators of compromise that they have provided. Let me look. No, they don't provide any in the story, so I can't really look for anything because they're not attributing it to anyone, but I've already given my attribution.
Attack. Romania's national oil pipeline operator Conpet says a cyber attack disrupted its corporate IT systems and knocked its website offline, but didn't affect operational technology or fuel transport. The company runs nearly 4,000 kilometers of pipelines. The Chilean ransomware group claims responsibility, saying it stole about 1 terabyte of data and leaked sample documents as proof.
All right, did they say Killen? Yeah, so Killen, which, by the way, I call it Chillin', the Chillin' ransomware gang. But Killen has taken responsibility for this. Again, I think the Killen threat actor group is one of these ones that is Eastern European based and has like some senior operators, but they're recruiting kind of the younger people. I'm taking this from my Flare Academy Syndicate Life of a Ransomware Operator webinar that I attended last month. I believe they are one of the ones that do that. The Killing one is advanced. Again, there's certain, I guess, effective players in the Eastern European ransomware space. So like, I want to say that the Killing ransomware gang has somebody from the Conti ransomware gang who is like a higher up that's involved with it. But anyways, they've attacked this oil pipeline and disrupted business systems. Okay. So I got to tell you, like, you know, the bravery of this threat actor group to attack an oil pipeline company is pretty interesting, considering in, I think, 2021, DarkSide attacked Colonial Pipeline. I think it was 2021. Fact check me on that one. But like, Colonial Pipeline got hit, and in one of the very rare cases, the U.S. federal government basically dropped all of its resources on DarkSide, got the money back that was paid by the ransom, and DarkSide immediately disbanded, which was insane. So like, it was misreported that, you know, the oil pipeline itself was impacted. It's the business systems. This group isn't attacking the OT ICS stuff. They're attacking like file servers and Active Directory and stuff, which screws up business, right? Like if you don't know where you're sending things, it is going to result in degradation of service delivery. See how it says right here? We note that the OT and SCADA systems were not affected. Exactly. These threat actor groups, again, they can have OT and ICS experience, but by and large, the ransomware threat actor groups are attacking IT systems. They're trying to disrupt business operations. They're not trying to cause. This isn't the 1995 movie Hackers, where the bad guy's trying to like basically flip an oil tanker and run away with a bunch of money. It like, they're not trying to cause devastation and like environmental damage. They're trying to get paid. You know, they got their dark web leak site, and you know, they're dropping all this information. So we'll see. 1 terabyte of documents. It's now into Conpet's court to see if they're going to pay or whatever. Again, guys, here's what you got to do. If you're not doing this, do it today, do it tomorrow, do it next week, whatever. What's up, Camiria Gonzalez? Good to see you. Listen, or Shamiria, sorry. Here's the deal. Run tabletop exercises at your work. Make them interesting. Say, hey, let's just pretend our IT systems are taken down. Let's just pretend that IT can bring everything back up in 5 days. Okay? Make those assumed facts. Now, as a business, what do? Do we pay the ransom? Like, what's our criteria for evaluating the data that they're leaking on their sites and determine if it's bad for us? Is it good for us? The press is calling. What do? Do we answer the phone? You know what I mean? So, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. So anyways, tabletop exercises are incredibly valuable. I would seriously recommend not really doing like an IT focused tabletop exercise with the executives there, and don't do an executive high level. Well, you can have the IT people there when you do the executive one, just so the IT people understand what the tone at the top is and what the strategic vibes are. But if you try to bring them all together, a lot of times, what you're going to get is people on their cell phone, because you're speaking to two different audiences, and you can't speak to both audiences at the same time, unfortunately. So tabletop exercises, killing ransomware, continuing to be a nuisance. Really quickly, I do want to point out this, as far as the Olympics go, I forgot about this guy in the Summer Olympics. This like OG gangster who was just like, everybody else has like cyber eyes and they look like, you know, it's like Metal Gear Solid 2075. And this guy's like, nah, I play Red Dead Redemption straight up. So there is that.
May reveal big personal info. The OpenClaw AI agent platform may be riddled with security flaws, including prompt injection attacks that could let hackers backdoor a user's machine, steal files, or deploy ransomware. Sneak found that 283 of around 4,000 skills in the Claw Hub marketplace exposed sensitive data like API keys, passwords, and credit card numbers. Zenity also showed attackers could use indirect prompt injection through integrated apps to gain remote control of systems and exfiltrate data. Encase driver.
Yes, this is why I'm telling you, man, like I get it. Ooh, innovation, disrupting the market, all these things. Sure, that's fine. But I'm telling you, man, if you just like throw caution to the wind, strap in and like just hit go and see what happens, you know, you're going to have a rough ride of it, right? Like, all right, here's another reference. Okay. And again, I know you youngs don't know, but hold on 1 second. Hold on. Okay. So this movie explores, I think, River Phoenix, Ethan Hawke, very young in this movie. I want to see their actual time machine because it was ridiculous. Brosif. Whatever. Okay, I guess we'll use the classic time machine from the sci-fi classic, okay? Or the DeLorean. Yeah, let's use the DeLorean. Okay, check it out really quickly. You're going to build a time machine, okay? One of one. You get in this thing and just hit go. Good luck. The fact that this thing actually worked, like no disrespect, Doc Brown, but like you were kind of an eccentric scientist who had many failures before the DeLorean worked correctly. The fact that this thing worked, okay, like this is what happens when you do disruption and innovation and you take the guards off and just let people go buck wild. R&D developers, they don't want to be held down. They just want to be free, man. Like, let my hair flow. Let me just like, you know, do whatever. Okay. And when you do that, move fast, break things, you run into all sorts of problems. And that's what's happening right here. The skills marketplace that OpenClaw, your AI assistant, threat actors figured it out. Threat actors are like, oh, geez, people are going to download all sorts of dumb things. Let's go ahead and rip them off. And people are putting bank accounts, credit cards, API keys, all the, you know, passwords. Again, if people are installing this on their work machine, you are not in a good situation as far as your enterprise infrastructure goes. Okay. So threat actors know it and they're exploiting it. This is why if you're going to deploy it yourself, you really need to put massive guardrails around this thing. Static IP addressing, allow only lists for what websites it can go to, not having VLAN it off so it can only see out of your network, not into your network. You know, putting commands on it like you're not allowed to do X, Y, and Z. Like the trick with OpenClaw, and I was having a conversation with a buddy the other day. The trick with OpenClaw is you can come up with tons of ideas on what not to do. OpenClaw, don't do this. OpenClaw, don't do that. The problem is there's going to be things that it's going to do that you wouldn't have thought of, right? Like DJ Bisek told me yesterday that OpenClaw went out and spent $7,000 on 2 classes for some woman because it determined that the classes would help the woman improve herself professionally. I don't know if she was ready to drop $7,000. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful out there. Threat actors know it. This thing is nuclear hot, and it's going to continue to be a breeding ground for threat actors.
Weaponized. Huntress researchers say that attackers are abusing an old revoked Windows driver from the Encase forensic tool to disable security software in Bring Your Own Vulnerable Driver attacks. The team found that Windows still loads the driver because of legacy signing rules that allow pre-2015 certificates, even if they're expired or revoked. If you have some thoughts.
All right. So NCASE, if you're a digital forensics investigator, you know exactly what NCASE is. It's one of the top tools for doing digital forensics, right? Like making copies of data, bit by bit, doing analysis, looking for carving out files, looking for interesting things, etc. Um, So it has a digital certificate that's expired. So when you go to use it, you get a notification saying this thing's expired, but you're like, it's in case, it's fine. You just click through. Um, well, threat actors have figured out that they can weaponize it in order to exploit EDR or endpoint detection and response. Um, Huntress responds to an IR and they noticed that the threat actor used a SonicWall SSL VPN creds for initial access. So not hacking here. They just bought creds and logged into the network over a VPN using real credentials. So again, make sure if you can, users are not reusing passwords or they have complicated passwords. Multi-factor authentication for the people in the back. And conditional access is the person whose creds were used logging in from the right country, logging in at a time that makes sense. Multi-factor authentication. Okay. And then they use the forensic tool Ncase to basically disable the security products. Now, I don't know why Ncase has this capability. Probably to prevent EDR from disabling it because it's doing kind of like kernel level things, which makes sense. But unfortunately, some threat actor figured it out. Let me ask you this, digital forensics people. Is Ncase still considered hot? Because like when I was going through one of my degrees, when I was going through my master's in information assurance, I believe, I took a privacy and forensics course and I used Ncase. I remember using Ncase or FTK. So let me know, is Ncase still relevant? Let me know. Let's see. All right. So Microsoft introduced a new policy in Windows 10 that requires new kernel drivers to be signed via its hardware dev center. But unfortunately, backward compatibility, thank you, Microsoft, for making backward compatibility, allows drivers signed with certs issued before 2015. So in this weird, bizarre kind of situation, because Ncase certificate expired a long time ago and Ncase has capabilities to disable EDR products because it's operating at the kernel level in many instances, the backward compatibility allowed that Ncase file to run and weaponize and be weaponized. Very cool work, Huntress. I'm a big fan of Huntress. Obviously, I'm a big fan of John Hammond, and I don't know if Matt Kiley's still over there. Matt Kiley was over there for last I knew. So I'm a big fan of those guys, and if they like Huntress, I like Huntress. Plus, Huntress is always doing great work. All right. So how do they stop this from working? So the EDR killer used by the threat actor was okay. So how do they? Ooh, this is interesting. So static analysis is difficult because the threat actor has encoded the payload throughout the binaries data section. So without getting super into the weeds on this one, the way that you can store stuff in these files, like payloads and stuff, usually when you look at it in a tool like a hex editor or a IDA or Ghidra or something like that, it'll be in memory, but it'll be in English and it's a payload, right? I mean, obviously threat actors can encode it and do other things or reach out to a C2 and pull down the payload itself so you can't find it. But in this case, they scattered it throughout and encoded it. So it just looks like noise. Obviously, there's static analysis and dynamic analysis. Dynamic analysis is better, obviously, because the payloads have to be assembled for execution. And at that point, you can stop execution of the binary and review it and look at it and stuff like that. Ah, so here's a little flex for Huntress. This particular malware targets 59 different EDR solutions on the market and disables them, but not Huntress. So if you're wanting to be protected from this, consider Huntress. It's a clever way to work in the a little marketing push there. Oh, and that's why Huntress was able to discover it, because their EDR platform wasn't disabled because this tool doesn't see it. I will say really quickly, hopefully, people protect from this. I'm going to drop a link to this in chat. There's a way to kind of protect from this particular attack. But if I was the threat actor, I would just update my code to work on the Huntress EDR now that this has gone public, right? All right. Definitely went over on time, guys. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. This has been episode 1062, Friday, February 6th. I hope you guys had a great experience, a great show. Thomas Colley, I hope you come back.
Welcome to the party, pal.
We're going to flip it over to jawjacking, see what happens there. Let me do this really quickly. Oh, yeah, very cool. If you got to get out of here because you got stuff to do, holla. If you're going to hang around, let's high five. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Until next time, stay secure. Again, Thomas Colley, don't go anywhere. Like, there's another show right after this one. And if you stay tuned, I'll tell you that secret about the Olympics that I've gotten approval to share with you. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking. Oh, hold on. Looks like we're going to have a panelist member here. I'm just seeing this right now. Alrighty, guys, welcome to Jawjacking. If you don't know what's happening here, I'm Jerry Guy. Oh, wait, hold on. No, I'm not. I'm Dr. Gerald Auger. Hold on. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the party. My name is Jerry Guy, coming on live from the Buffer Auger Flow studio. This is a 30-minute AMA. Ask me anything. I'll give you answers the best I can. If I don't have the answer, I will... I guess it's episode 1063. If I don't have the answer, I will get you the answer. We're going to be joined by some other practitioners in industry. And if you're wondering, isn't this the same as Dr. Gerald Auger? It's not. This is my alter ego. Dr. Gerald Auger is a nerd. I am cool. Feel me. All right. We got a couple panelists creeping in here. This is good. So let me bring the panelist on. First off, his camera's not on, so that's not going to work. We're going to have Real Bilbo here once his camera gets sorted out. We also have, looks like potentially Zach Hill, Fleetest Post in the third, etc. So we're going to do that. Let me look at chat really quickly. I'm going to keep playing music until otherwise noted. My finger. What's the use case for the Protegrity Developers Edition? Oh, okay. Hold on one second. All right. Let me look at chat. Hold on one second. Dude, I love the phone booth. I thought about that. But the thing is, the phone booth came from the future, right? I didn't want to use Bill and Ted's Excellent Invention because the phone booth came from the future. They had already worked out the details. We don't know about the R&D about the phone booth time machine. The DeLorean, we know Doc Brown made it in 1985, right? So I guess to be an absolute nerd, I was being very specific, okay? Hold on one second. I'm looking for this question about the Protegrity. Hold on, man. Hold on. I'm like trying to get to this. Hold on one second. Where's the question, bro? All right. Here we go. All right, so what's the use case of the Protegrity Developers Edition from the video you posted? Is it just something to load in some data and sanitize it? Is it put on the network? No, you'd run it. I mean, you could put it on a headless server, Sean Sailors. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, really quickly, this is the video. I release videos now, produce videos that are good quality. Like, you know, they got all the editor touches and stuff like that. Every single Sunday at 4 p.m. I'm doing Sundays for 6 months to see if you know that works well for the channel and for people. But this is the video that they're doing. I see people in the green room. I'm going to get to you in just a minute. Check it out. Hold on one second.
What if I told you?
So this is that video right here. AI not exposure. Basically, there is a if you go to the show notes, you'll see that there is a link to a GitHub repo, Protegrity Developer Edition. Anyone can download this. And essentially, what's the use case? So here's the deal. If you are going to stick data in AI, you can use this to sanitize the data. You can use it to tokenize the sensitive bits of data. And it's smart enough to know what is sensitive and what is not sensitive. Okay. So it can sanitize, or excuse me, it can tokenize sensitive bits of data. So then you don't lose referential integrity. So imagine, if you will, you want to look at analytical spending habits of people who are customers of yours in the month of March 2025, right? So you could take all of that information from your databases, right? Like, you know, what people bought in 2025, right? So you could take all that data. Now we have email, name, maybe gender, location, credit card number. Okay. You don't want to stick all that in ChatGPT. Believe me, you don't want to stick it in Claude. You could, because you could do the analysis yourself, but that's going to take like 2 weeks. But if you stick it in Claude and you say, look at this data set, identify spending habits for people that I could use for my March 2026 campaign to make the most amount of money for my business. AI is going to come back and give you like insights, and you're going to be like, yes, that's awesome. But now you've taken all that data and you've stuck it in a friggin' third party with no governance, no rules, no like contract in place, and you're screwed. You use this tool and you sanitize it. They can have that data. It's fake data, fake names, credit cards are fake. But the thing is, if I used my credit card to purchase 10 things, all 10 of those purchases are going to have the same unique session token or sessionized token for that thing. So you still maintain referential integrity. You see what I'm saying? Also, you can use it for synthetic data. If you have developers who are like, we want to build an app that works with our data set, give me a copy of production data. Guess what? The old way, yeah, you could do that. But now you can just have this thing look at your production data, figure out what data assets you use, and then create synthetic data. So now your developers can make tools that work correctly for your data sets without giving them the data, because, spoiler alert, developers think that their dev environment is not part of production infrastructure. No, your production infrastructure is your enterprise infrastructure. It's all commingled, right? It's just production is like the forward-facing, client-facing piece of it. If your dev is vulnerable and a threat actor gets after it, they're going to compromise you. So anyways, that's what's up with that. Now, let me introduce you to our panel today. Hold on one second. Real Bilbo's saying something about something. Okay. All right. So here we go. We're going to bring in our panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Real Bilbo, who shared a win in chat today. Uncommon on the stream, but good to see you, Bilbo. Bilbo is on stream, buddy. Maybe he doesn't realize it. We'll go ahead and bring Fleetus Posting the Third on. Hey, Fleetus, what's up, dude?
Happy Friday, everyone.
I love it. Bill, if you are watching on YouTube, you have to be
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. All right. You were acting like you were on a delay or something. All right, hold on. Let me change my camera so I don't look like some weird oddball. There we go. Look at me. Look at us. Good to see you. So, Real Bilbo.
Hey, what's going on?
It's good to see you. Tons of experience at an MSP and just cyber and all the things. He is a Fortinet fanboy, so we'll just leave that there. And then Fleetus Posting the Third, SecOps and GRC, running more of like kind of a CISO show now. So we've got tons of experience in the chat for you. Zach Hill may be joining us. I don't know. How you doing, Fleetus?
Doing well, doing well. It's cold here again. I'm ready for spring. Ready for spring.
I am ready for spring too, dude. It's 35 and it's gross. Real Bilbo, how are you, buddy? Okay, Real Bilbo's giving us the finger. That's fine. All right, so we're gonna move Real Bilbo out. Okay. So Fleetus, it's me and you rocking the mic tonight.
That's totally fine. Totally fine.
All right. Hey, what do you think about this open claw thing while I queue up some questions?
So I think I shared something in your channel. I shared a few other places. I think it was just not guardrailed correctly when it was deployed. I think like everything else, let's go to market too quickly. It's been rebranded, 3-4 times now.
Yeah.
Depending on which side of the fence you're on, I've seen both sides just put it in a virtual, but then it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, or put it on your device, but give it puppet accounts. Again, it still doesn't do what you want it to do. So you have to decide again, it's back to the age-old question. Do you want convenience or do you want privacy?
There you go. I'm deploying it on a Mac Mini back here. I had one. I know. I don't know if you've seen this, that like Apple is like blowing out their sales numbers because everybody's buying Mac Minis right now. I had one laying around. The first inception of Simply Cyber before I started pushing performance boundaries was on a Mac Mini. So I had one that I wiped yesterday. It's just personally, I'm not going to just install it and like let it go. I want to put in all sorts of security architecture around it. Because I don't know how, it's AI, man. I don't know how smart it's going to be and how it's going to try to help me.
What I've seen so far is it takes any metadata it can get a hold of. So if you've got any cookies persistent or non-persistent, if you've logged into any browser sessions and you let it, for all those people who've just logged in and remembered everything, it's learning every bit of that. So anything that you've saved a password, especially if you saved it into the browser, any cookies you've got on your box that you haven't cleaned it up, it's looking at all your history. It's trending off of all the ads that you're getting. So all those 301s that are served up for all of your web surfing. So it's gathering a lot of data on what you're doing. So to your point, if you keep it in an isolated spot and control what you're searching, you're going to control your blast radius for now. But if you ever accidentally log in with your Gmail account or go somewhere that's got an internet presence, it's going to find it.
Yeah, there you go. Bilbo looks like he might be back. Let me bring him back really quickly. Bill, you with us now?
Good to go. Yes, sir.
All right. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing well. How's everyone out there?
We're doing good. We're doing great. I will tell you just on the open claw thing, everybody's going to have their own approach to architecture. But for me, I wiped the Mac Mini fully. And I'm going to create, I'm calling my bot Urza, just whatever. I'm calling it Urza. And I'm going to create an urza.simplycyber@gmail account for it. I'm going to create an Apple ID for Urza. Like I'm creating its own everything. I'm going to download 1Password. Like I use Bitwarden. I'm going to download 1Password. So it's a different tech stack altogether. So it can have its own password vault. This is next level. You guys tell me if you think I'm crazy pills here. I'm actually going to go open a bank account and put $500 in it. And like, that'll be its bank account. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys informed.
You're actually not on a bad idea. The other thing that people aren't talking about, and I don't think they're realizing it, is if you've got pass keys or API keys, watch those, because it's going to try to capture anything it can. And if you don't set limits on your APIs, you're going to get a nice little bill, because it's going to utilize and it's going to start going out there. So you need to throttle them, or you need to set up rate limits on your personal API keys if you're going to give it API access to anything.
Perfect. All right. First question coming in hot. We've got Mara Levy, the app. Oh, wait, hold on. Well, there's going to be two things here. She's talking about the Protegrity AI Developer Edition free GitHub tool that I talk about. It would reduce risk for using third-party AI, but what's the risk involved with putting your data in the sanitation app? Isn't that also a third party? No. So Mara, this tool runs locally on the box. There's no, when you pull down the Docker container, all of the intelligence and capability is local on your machine. You can do this offline. So that's the difference. A school I work at has an upcoming job fair. We are a virtual school. We're accepting pre-recorded submissions. Anyone interested? It's a way of giving back to the community. So if you are interested in this, connect with Angular 777 in chat. But Bill, I would like to ask you, let's say the answer is yes. You are interested in submitting a pre-recorded submission to a job fair. What would you put in that video? Advice. It's your kid who's like, Dad, I'm going to apply to this thing. What should I put in this video? Give us the outline.
Well, the first thing I would say is go to simplycyber.io and start data mining the site to find what you need. And I'm going to beat that drum really loud because when Jerry and I last saw each other in August, September timeframe, I left DEF CON at my highest in my career. I felt amazing when I left DEF CON. Everything was going to be good. And then I got back to the office and I realized I was still in the toxic environment. The culture still sucked and I was still being exploited by the people that I worked for. And so I just kind of fell off the thing and without all the content that's out there. But to answer the question, I would start number one. You got to have a LinkedIn, son. You got to get that set up and you got to curate it. You want to make sure you use every single ounce of space on that YouTube to promote your brand. Now you have to have a brand, but I'm just a sixth grader, Dad. That's okay. What makes you unique? What makes your skill set unique? And what makes you the right choice for the person that they're looking for? And then once you have that brand built, you need to work on the network. And I'll say 3 years ago, I was skeptical on the network. I used to refer to LinkedIn as the place where all the college kids posted their pedigrees because, I came from a blue collar family. At 50 years old, I still didn't have a degree. I learned everything by reading books and cutting my teeth on, OJT essentially. That's on the job training for the youngs out there. And once you have your network built, then the rest is just going to happen. And I know it sounds fairy tale and fantasy like, but that is the truth. What if you build a network, you invest in your network and you give back to that network? Don't just ask, hey, what can you do for me? Hey, Tyler, I want to be a pen tester, bro. What can you do for me? No, what can you do for Tyler? How can you help out Jerry? How can you help out Fleetus? Like, don't worry about them helping you. If you're there for people and hey, Fleetus has a question. He posts some weird, situation that he's going through on LinkedIn about, a log that makes no sense to him. He's not going to post any details. He's just going to post maybe a one-liner. It's like, yeah, this log is not my friend today. And maybe you have some input. You've seen it before. Maybe you just fixed your Claude bot, and so you can give him the info. Then he's going to remember it. Like somewhere down the line, there might be a job in his organization or at the school. Since we're focusing on the job fair, there might be a job at the school that, hey, we want to implement this automated Claude bot. So what can we do? And Fleetus is going to be like, hey, Bill's pretty smart. Like he gives in, he helps everybody out. He's always there when folks need him. So we know he's reliable and he knows Claude bot. We should look at him. So summarize that, because I know I said a lot. You got to have a visual presence online. LinkedIn is great. It's easy because not everyone wants to do YouTubes and write blogs. You got to have a network. Once you get that network established, you have to contribute to the network. The network is not there to give you anything. The network is there for you to invest in. Once you're invested in the network, just sit back and wait. Watch the beauty happen.
Fleetus, what do you think about what should be in this pre-recorded submission?
Yes. So first off, find out if they have a size limit, if they have a requirement. Do a little research because you don't want to go too long-winded. You want to go too short. So introduce yourself real quickly. Give any accolades if you have them. So what is your pedigree of any type? If you have any certifications, mention them. If you don't have them, talk about your working knowledge of CompTIA Sec Plus, of SIT, NIST, whatever you want to talk about, whatever control you're most passionate about, and align it back to the job description. So when you're recording, talk about how you fulfill the bullet points in the job rec while highlighting what you've done to apply it and how you continue to learn about it. So highlight it real quick, keep it concise, and use brevity where possible. Only expound on something if it's something that they keep calling out. So if they say AWS 4 times, spend a lot of time on AWS. If they don't, briefly mention AWS and then move on to the next topic.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I guess I missed that, when it comes to the actual video itself. My to the video and the submission, I would try to make a commercial. I would try to make a commercial that told why you were the right fit for that job. If you don't know, what content or how to make that commercial, just go watch 10 minutes of regular aired TV that has 10-minute show is going to have 7.5 minutes of commercials, and look at how they build the commercial, and just make sure your commercial ends with a call to action, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, and you can also essentially what this commercial is you're marketing yourself, right? There are really well-defined marketing frameworks. So if you ask ChatGPT or whatever, like, I want to do this pre-recorded submission, here's who I am, here's the job. Give me a marketing framework in order to execute this script effectively. And that's where like you identify a problem, and then you irritate or agitate the problem, and then you're the solution. Like you'll see, like if once you understand these marketing frameworks, when you watch a commercial, it's almost like you're like watching it on rails. I will also put in there, just this is kind of like a bonus thing, because when I was young, I didn't appreciate these things. All right. So like if you're going to send in a pre-recorded submission, like my suggestion, like, yes, you could like do a handheld and be like, what's up? I'm the person for the job. Right. Like I would suggest maybe spending 20 minutes and actually get your phone set up, whatever. If you're going to use your phone, get your phone set up, get the lighting okay, make your background look okay. You can put the effort in to like shape it. Okay. Because what you're going to do is implicitly convey standards, quality, expectations. Like, for example, let's say I have a PhD in cyber operations, and I'm doing a pre-recorded submission for a video, but I'm standing in a dumpster at a rest stop off the highway, and there's friggin' noise everywhere. You can literally see trash bags behind me, and I'm just filthy looking. I'm like, what's up? I've got a PhD. I'm perfect. Like, people are going to be like, I don't give a damn about your degree. You are disgusting, sir. Like, I don't want you here. So that's a hyperbolic example to make the point of why you should kind of lean into the other direction. So don't just think about what you're going to say. Think about the entire packaging of what you're going to be delivering for that pre-recorded submission. So a couple people go ahead, Bill.
One quick thing you can do too is ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whatever your choice of AI is your friend. You could easily say, I want to create a video submission for a job fair utilizing a style similar to insert commercial name here or brand name here, and then build me a script that helps me keep it to and give it some timelines to meet the constraints that Fleeta said to identify earlier.
Yeah, and to that too, one more thing before we move on. It's a good question. You're going to do a lot of video interviews. More and more companies are giving you questions to answer. You record it and submit it so they don't have to do the screening interview. When I was in the middle of my reduction in force this summer, I submitted virtual interviews. So this is something you should practice, to Jerry's point. Find a comfortable room, find a good setup, and be comfortable recording 2 to 3 minutes per question, because they're going to ask you to do 2 to 3 minutes per question. And that's all they give you. And depending on their platform, they may let you re-record. They may not let you re-record. It may be a one-time submission. So practice for this, because it's going to come up in your career.
Yeah. So a couple follow-ups from people. And if you have questions, drop them in chat. TJ asked about the Olympic hotness. So really quickly, I mentioned this earlier. So Fleetus, Bill, if you were not watching the show when the Olympic story came on, I have a friend. Okay. So for those who are just joining us, like quickly, I have a friend who was responsible for cybersecurity at the Olympics. I think it was Lillehammer. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Was.
Yeah. So I was having breakfast with him, and he's like, something that's really interesting. There's 3 networks at the Olympics. There's the Olympic Village network, where all the athletes are doing all of the nonsense. Okay. So that's like one network. Then there's like the Olympic business network, right? So all the people who are running the Olympics and stuff like that. And there's a third network, and it's the most important one. It's the one that had the most money spent on it, the most secure, the most critical.
For the athletes.
No, it's for the timing. Like the timing of the events, because we're talking about like world records, and it's just like those systems cannot be compromised in any way. Like
Makes sense.
the integrity is exceedingly high of importance that they put so much resources into making sure that those systems are incredibly well protected. So I found that interesting. It makes sense, but like, it's wild. So that was the fun fact about that. Go
I
ahead.
may have shared something similar with it, but they do the same thing with the stock exchange. Depending on where the brokerage, they will run the exact amount of length of fiber so that there's no way of getting a trade in a half a second, millisecond before. So making sure you have the right security, right networking is important. Just to add on to that, I don't know if I've shared that in the past, but when I first learned that, it made sense to me. But I was like, it never made sense that all of the brokers that were around have the exact amount of spooled fiber sitting in their data center to make it the same, no matter where they're geolocated.
That's interesting. I've heard on, again, I've never looked into it, but I have heard that, some brokerages will like where they're physically located, like with proximity to like, the ocean for like the European, coming over, it's faster and stuff like that. I don't know. I suck at that. Someone says, what's the purpose of the bank account? So I was talking about opening a dedicated bank account for my Clawbot. This is because if I wanted to do something for me, like I want you to start, I don't know, like affiliate marketing or something like that. Like I want you to start a blog that can generate me money on home technology innovation, like smart home stuff. And I want you to do it. Go. I want it to be able to have access to money so it can sign up for a professional Substack account or professional, insert blog platform here. I don't want it to begin executing a business plan and then it run into a financial problem, but I don't want to give it access to my bank account. Like I want it to have its own bank account. And someone mentioned overdraft fees. I mean, I would just literally tell it not to overdraft. Like just look at the balance, think about what you're doing, and don't overdraft. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Fun question from Dream Logic for the panel. What's your favorite games? Not a cyber question. And then she put in game platforms, PSP, Nintendo, etc. I'll leave it to you guys. You can drop a platform or you can drop a game if you like. I'll go first. As much as I love all sorts of playing video games and stuff, I will say that Magic the Gathering Arena I probably have like 1,000 hours on that game according to Steam. So that's what it is. But I always enjoyed the original PlayStation. I got a lot of fun out of that growing up. Fleetus, what's yours?
So I still revert back to Mario Kart. I played on all the Marios. So on the Switch, on the Wii, I've played it on Nintendo 64. I revert back to just playing Mario Kart.
Yeah, there you go. That's a fun one. Always a fan favorite. Bill, you got a favorite game platform?
So Jerry's been dying to tell everyone that I got married back in November. I actually got married 3 days before I got fired, I should say, 3 days before I got married. And I kept that secret from my wife. Anyways, to answer the question, we ended up when we took our wedding trip, we agreed that it was going to be technology free. This was a little anxiety driven because we had one phone. We got a different phone with a different phone number and only gave it to the couple of people that we wanted to get a hold of us if they needed to. And so because we were tech free, we had to find new things to play. And my wife and I discovered this game called Uno No Mercy. And let me tell you what, it is a hoot.
Okay, Uno No Mercy. Thank you.
You can make someone draw 24. The object is to put 25 cards in somebody's hand, and then they're out of the game.
Ooh, okay. I like it. If you got favorite games, favorite platforms, drop them in chat. I see a lot of people dropping those in there. If you're a big fan, my son has a gaming computer or whatever, and he downloaded Call of Duty Modern Warfare or whatever, like the free one that's like free to play. He's like, Dad, it filled my entire hard drive. I'm like, yeah. Welcome to modern gaming. Like,
yeah.
Bill Reynard wants to know what video you were referencing back in the super chat when you said that the videos helped you.
Well, so it was a whole series of videos, and Jerry, I have to link them because I don't have the ability to link them, but Jerry has a series on how to curate your LinkedIn. So all the things I said in the first question, how do I set my LinkedIn up so I get the most value from my LinkedIn and it provides information about me, who I am, what I do, and why I would be a good fit on your team, or just simply why you want to hang out with me. The second piece, He has a series, How to Transition to Cybersecurity from Any Job Field. He has specific job fields. He has any job fields. So go look at it. He also has a bunch of podcasts, the produced videos. They're not produced videos. They're actually interviews with, what's the cat's name? I can't remember. You guys did the whole interview series, the Build Your Resume.
Stefan Semmelroth. Yeah.
There, thank you. And so in that, like they do that. Then so that's the video. And then let's see, what was the third one?
If you go to Simply Cyber's YouTube channel, Leonard, this is the ChatGPT powered cybersecurity career boost. So this is the playlist that shows you how to ChatGPT to fix your resume, get to an interview, crush an interview, and do that. This is the video series on building basically a YouTube podcast or personal branding. And then there was one in here around anyone can pivot into cybersecurity. And I do like rabbi to cybersecurity, school teacher, truck driver, etc. I'm trying to find that particular one, but they're all in here. Go to the playlists on Simply Cyber or YouTube, and it's this one right here. Anyone can pivot.
Anyone can pivot into cybersecurity. There it is.
Yeah. Oh my God. So,
but watch if you watch one of those videos. From that video, it'll start like informing the algorithm what you're trying to do with the videos, and the next video suggestion is going to be, cybersecurity for, how to get into a SOC analyst, whatever it is. When I started hanging out on Simply Cyber almost 4 years ago now, 4.5, I think it was, Jerry's like almost every question he got started with, I have a video for that. And then he would link the video. He's got so many videos now that we don't hear it as much as we used to back in the day. The nostalgia just like I miss the nostalgia some days.
Yeah. It's implied.
For it. Yeah. The key to that, someone like tying it back to this, to the video interview question, the other thing you're going to want to do before you shoot that video, before you do any of this, or as you're doing all this, you want to use that network. So join communities like Hack Smarter, where you can do mock interviews, you can get resume roasts, like all the things you used to do. That's another thing Jerry used to do that helped me out a ton. I thought I had a nice, well put together resume. I sent it to Jerry and said, roast me, please. And from that, I learned what I needed to do better. I thought, hey, I'm a hiring manager. I know how to build a resume. And I got so much valuable input just by putting myself out there and letting people critique me that helped me for the long run. For two reasons. One, it's not the first time I'm hearing it. So if I hear it in an interview, the emotional reaction is already gone. Now I can just digest that and be like, hey, I've heard this before. I'm going to respond this way. And the second one is practice. The more natural it is, the better it feels. That's why I said use the commercial aspect. Jerry said rehearse. If you wanted to do the video by the dumpster, it might be the right idea if you're trying to present yourself as the guy that puts out dumpster fires, right? Maybe you light the dumpster on fire. I don't recommend that. It's probably against the law and you want to be in a controlled environment. But as long as it's on brand to what you're trying to do and where you're going with it, that's what's going to help. And that's what I learned from Jerry. That's what I learned from watching success story after success story. I thought, hey, this is all just for new people in the field. I've been doing this for 20 years. Like, I know what I need to know. I'm just here to help out. And in the end, it was the community that helped me.
All right. Next question coming in. And Nick Dowd says I don't know what video you're talking about, Nick. You say you don't have time for the video. Just answer the question. Let us know what question you're talking about. But like the reason that we make the videos is because like whatever your question is, if I have a video for it, that means like if I just answer your question, I'm going to say exactly what's in the video. So by doing the video, you can consume it when you want. You can pause it. You can watch it again. You can take notes. That's why the video exists. So I don't think you're actually getting any benefit by not watching the video and just hearing me answer the question, because it's a repeat of what I'm saying in the video. Next question is coming in here. This is a good one, Fleetus, putting you on the hot seat. Overemployment, ethical or not? How would you manage? And please define overemployment really quick.
Yeah, so overemployment is holding multiple W-2s or full-time positions and or working for another employer while using another employer's asset or time. So here's the thing. if you are a purely office employee and have no hybrid status, overemployment is very hard and is unethical because you will be carrying multiple laptops into someone else's work, potentially joining their network and doing additional work. The only way that if you are a, let's just say W-2, so an FTE, and you overwork is if you do a night shift. So you have a day job, you work 8 to 5, you work a night shift that's 8 to 4. That could probably work. That's not unethical. It's only unethical if it's a competitor. You cannot work in the same industry or for a competitor in which you work for. Same goes if you do a consulting. So a 1099, you're going to sign NDAs. You're going to sign in non-disclosure agreements, and you're going to have to be prepared to say no to contracts because of certain clients that you hold as a consultant. So you can get in trouble either way. So long as you don't have a policy that states you cannot, some employers now say you cannot have any other jobs, especially if it's a publicly traded company. They don't want you to be on boards. They don't want you serving in communities. They don't want you having works. You can't even have a side consulting gig. So be very careful and read your employment contracts when you start. Ask in your interviews, is it okay to still be on a board and have a paid position? Is it okay to still have my side consulting business? How do I disclose my speaking engagements? Had a close friend of mine who was a CISO at a very large Fortune 50 company. They finally phased him out because he was being paid and speaking on the side. He was okay with it, but it finally became a conflict of interest. And when they had to do their reduction in force, he was one to be let go. So can you do multiple work? Yes. I'm sitting here today. I have a full-time job. I have my consulting, but I disclose that to my employer. And if I have a conflict of interest, my employer is going to win out. I have to stay with my W-2, my FTE, my full-time position, not my side gig, unless I'm willing to resign. And then even if you do resign, there's probably a clause in there that you can't work for them for X amount of days, which leads us into a whole different discussion on non-competes. Most states have now banned that you can't enforce a non-compete, but there are certain roles that they will come after you civilly if you go from a CTO of one company to a CTO of a competitor. So be very cautious if and when you move around. I know that's a long-winded answer. I'd love to see if I answer your question, but that's where it gets tricky. It depends. What does your employment agreement say? Is it a conflict of interest? And are you using your current employer's time to get double pay? So those are things to weigh.
And I can piggyback on the how you would manage it. It's a little easier to manage if you already have it established when you're going into the employment, because you can disclose that after the job offer. Hey, I have a YouTube channel and I do X, Y, or Z, or I have my own company and I kind of focus on small business. I'm not beating my drum here, but the job I've got today is my best paying job in my entire career. And in the interview, I should say the meeting we had after the job offer, when we started the negotiation process, I said, hey, I have a 1099, I have my own LLC, I do my own work, I have these types of clients. I just want to make sure you guys are going to be okay with that going forward, because it's not something that I'm willing to sacrifice. The CEO looked me dead in the face and said, how much do I have to pay you to get rid of that? There you go. And I said, none. You can't pay me enough. It's job security in some ways. There's no conflict of interest, especially now. I moved out of the MSP space completely. So I'm an in-house. I do OT and IT. I help the IT side, but I'm primarily doing the OT side now for a large mining company. And so to me, I saw no reason why that. We had some discussion back and forth, and his concern was like, hey, when are you going to be doing this? And I said, like, I can do it outside of your time. I promise, if the channel goes live as I wanted it to, it will go here. My people are here, and I only work on these guys. They're smaller, so they won't bug me during the day. And if they do, I'm ethical. So I will let you know, hey, I have to leave or I have to do X, Y, or Z, because my job is remote. That's the other winner chicken dinner for me, man, is like the only thing I cared about was that this place was remote. And they're like, they agreed. Like after we talked it, we worked it through. It's in my HR file. So if anyone ever goes and complains, they can go back and look and say, no, that we discussed this. These were the limitations that we set. This is what we agreed to as a company. And so just be upfront. Don't try to hide it. The more honest and upfront you are about it, the more comfortable the employer is going to be with it.
There you go. Solid guidance and advice on how to kind of how to manage this. I will say there's different, like almost different definitions of overemployment. Like at COVID, early COVID, overemployment was like literally like people would have like 5 or 6 jobs.
Yeah, that's
And like
not right.
with the goal of being fired in 90 days. And like I even saw someone who's like, I make $1 million a year now because I have 6 jobs that pay like 150 grand. And I'm expecting to get fired from several of them but who cares? It's going to take 90 days for them to fire me. And I've made, 40 grand doing nothing. And to me, that's like egregious. Like you are literally doing that to steal money versus like trying to juggle multiple things.
Well,
Hands
there's
down,
another question
that's
from
unethical.
Sean Burns that I want to address real quick. He didn't put a question mark, but it aligns very closely. Be very, very cautious if you develop code or product and move it around if you have multiple roles. You said you were similar about one role and wanting to develop your own product. And will the company come after you for building said tool? Maybe. If it looks the same color, the same skin, the same layout, they probably may eventually come after you. But they may not. They may say, you wrote this code on your own dime. If that code never touched that corporate asset, you're fine because they can't ever see it in your GitHub, your GitLab, your Bitbucket, whatever your repo is, you're fine. But if you did any part of it and it goes live, it's their code. Even if you wrote it's their WebEx, their UX, it's theirs. Can you recreate it? Yes. And Jerry has talked about that, and I've heard others talk about it. You can recreate anything you've done, but you have to spin it enough that it's now yours. It's kind of like when you write a paper. You can plagiarize without plagiarizing. As long as you can refactor it and write it in your own sentence, it's fine. You don't have to cite a piece of code. You can say you were inspired from your role. Great. But think of it that way when we're trying to do that. And be very cautious. And to the people in here, if you really feel like get a lawyer. Ask them. Go get a retainer with a lawyer and have them evaluate the contract to make sure you're protected so you can deploy or start this company.
And I'd say save yourself a little money if you've already created it ahead of time before you bring it into the corporate environment. Float the idea to your supervisor, to the VP, whoever it is that you work for. Let them know it's your intellectual property. You have a tool that you think would help out, and it's more effective or more efficient just for you to bring that tool in, but you want to maintain control of that tool. It's not hard to do. Everyone understands IP stuff ahead of time. What the employer in most cases is trying to do is ensure that they didn't pay you to write something that you're going to go make a bunch of money on the backside from on their time. So if you're like, hey guys, I want to build this, I'll do it all on my time outside of the office. I think it'll be huge for us, but I just want to maintain the intellectual rights to it when I'm done. Most of the time, if you're working for the right place, the culture's good and they're ethical themselves, you're going to get some meet me in the middle type thing at worst. But most of the time, I'd say you're going to get the green light to do what you're going to do. Just make sure you uphold your end of the bargain. Don't work on it at work. Don't steal code from the office and move it into your code. Like, make sure it's your property, your intellect that you've put together.
All right. I love it. And it's definitely not a conversation you want to have afterward. Like, you don't want an icky conversation. You want it crystal clear. And by the way, I would, another, like, I guess just like lesson learned is like, say you talk to your boss and your boss is like, no, this is cool. Well, guess what? Like 6 months from now, your boss quits or gets laid off or they go somewhere else and your new boss is an a-hole, right? Maybe you don't have that anymore, and you're all the way down the road where you got this thing in production making money, and now it's not yours. So make sure that you get things documented. You get like approval or signatures or something that you could basically defend in a civil trial. Which I know sounds crazy, and I don't want to get a lawyer and fight my company, but like, it's easier to get it up front than it is afterwards when you're having an icky fight, if you will, right?
Word of advice on that too. Make sure that letter, that email, that permission comes from HR.
Yeah.
Coming from the CEO doesn't help you. Coming from your supervisor doesn't help you. When it comes down, push comes to shove, and you've got to get litigation or a lawyer involved, HR is the one, like, that's the one that's going to save your bacon, because they're the ones that are all about, employee compliance, and they keep it in your file. It's not going to disappear. If they leave, it's still going to be there. They're not going to change their opinion because they're the representative of the company that approves employee changes in one-off situations like that.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't see any more questions right now. If you have questions, drop them in chat, but let's spend a minute talking about our amazing panelists. Fleetus, you have a YouTube channel and some podcasts that you're working on. What do you, where can people get some Fleetus in their life, and what could they expect if they go to those destinations?
Sure. So my channel, I started it right as I joined this community just over 2 years ago. So I mainly expanded upon a food for thought series I had been doing on LinkedIn for the last several years, turned it into video blog. So you'll see those. I've kind of backed off on video blogging, my food for thoughts, and switched to just putting out some content that's related to an AI business cybersecurity class that I'm teaching. So I put out some content around that AI class. I've been refactoring some of my lectures and putting them on my YouTube channel. So those have been coming out. I think I'm premiering another one on Monday around business risk. So that'll be there. And then on Saturday mornings, I try to put out roughly every Saturday. It's those 2 to 3 Saturdays a month, a cybersecurity sipping. So something you can grab a cup of coffee, sit and listen to for about 15 minutes that you can turn around and apply to Monday morning. So I talk about anything from like AI assistance was my last one, the marketing ploy of just making it be your assistant. I talked about a few different things around security theaters. You can see on the screen of how that applies. And then I went live. I tried to do a little banter series periodically, and I talked about the fact that cyber is not a one-time thing. So when I went live on, I think it was Wednesday, I was talking about just the fact that cybersecurity is continuous. It's always continuous. Continuous monitoring, continuous audit, continuous packaging. It's not a point and click. It's not a checkbox. So you can find that there. I just helped stand up our DEF CON chapter here in Charlotte. So we revived it after it being dead for about 10 years. So we have our chapter meeting here on the 16th, Monday the 16th. Got some friends from the Simply Cyber community who's been sponsoring it outside of it. So it's been nice to see them come through it. And then I'm looking to get into a few more talking engagements this year. I'll share them on my LinkedIn. But if you're in the Charlotte area, find me. I'm plugged in with ISSA, now the DEF CON chapter. With IAC2. So there's plenty of opportunities to plug in person. But if you want to virtually find me, follow me on LinkedIn. I put out some content, or look at my YouTube channel. So I appreciate the opportunity to share that, sure.
Absolutely. And Bill, if you can drop a link in DMs here on Discord, something we can use. But people like Bill's story, getting married, turning a negative into a wicked positive as far as the job front goes. I know you're doing some YouTube content. You're running your own business as well as W2. So a lot of value can be garnered from your experiences. Where can people get more Bill in their life?
Well, right now the YouTube thing's kind of on hold to kind of wrap all that up. I was on James McQuiggan's podcast. The timing was perfect. The weekend before Thanksgiving, I was rolling out my first video for my YouTube channel, my first live stream. I did that. Went to work the next day, got called into the CEO's office, and the discussion started about the YouTube channel and the YouTube content because I was doing some video content for them. And it quickly evolved into, a difference of opinions that led to me basically departing the company. I wasn't fired. I tell everyone I was fired because they, whatever. I don't care how you depart the company. So it kind of changed everything because now 3 days later, I'm going on the thing. Anyways, fast forward. I'm looking to relaunch that here in the next couple of weeks. I have went through the longest onboarding process. The background check hiring process for this job took 45 days. I had to get basically all the same stuff I got when I got a clearance in the Army. And it's just been overwhelming. I'm drinking from a fire hose, and that's unusual for me. I usually walk into an environment and I'm very comfortable with it. I've done my job for a long time, so I'm good to go. But I'm in a new realm. OT is a different beast. If you've never worked in it, there's a lot of, you just can't go in there with a machete anymore. And I'm working in mining. So one of the things that a lot of people don't think about in mining is water. When you're underground, water builds up very fast. That's all OT controlled. There are 500 people's, lives at stake in any given day underground, based off of my IT stuff. So it's been overwhelming. It's been very humbling, but it's also been very rewarding at the same time. So I appreciate you trying to plug that. I'll get it back out there. For now, folks can find me on LinkedIn. And if you want to watch me play some video games, you can check my YouTube channel out there at The Real Bilbo. But all that is for me decompressing and playing some Magic the Gathering, some World of Warcraft, or possibly some Battlefield.
Go say less, Bill. Like let's go on the Magic front.
Yeah, I'm in, dude. I'm probably hooked just about as bad as you are. I took a long break because I had to get, priorities back in order.
All right. No, I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Hey, it's Friday. Everybody's kicking it. I do want to say really quickly, I see that we're scheduled to have an AMA in the Discord server today. Today is someone incredibly special to me's birthday, so I was not going to be working a full day today. I didn't realize the AMA is today. So that may be happening. That may not be happening. According to, let me see really quickly. Yeah, it does say today at noon. So stay tuned for that.
There's one more that came in. It's right in your way, Jerry. I'm a GRC lead, and I want to start consulting company focusing on developing security policies. Any advice?
Yeah, I mean, I can speed run that here. So let me pull this up really quickly. GRC lead, want to start a consulting company. Yeah, I mean, you can totally do that. There's going to be a lot of need for GRC people and basically businesses that don't have any InfoSec wanting to get straightened out, especially if they have to comply with HIPAA. I started a consulting company doing like risk assessments with risk mitigation outputs for those work. Basically just explain the value. As far as like, I guess, advice, number one, sales is going to be your hardest thing. You are going to be doing time for money, which means when you're working, you're not selling. So you're going to run into this feast or famine situation, which is very frustrating. If you can, I would work W-2 while building this business up, not just quit cold turkey and try to start this business. And if you can, go speak in your community, like at Rotary meetings or anywhere to like get the name out. And the final best practice, if you can offer to do like say 4 or 5 engagements for free, which you might be like, that sounds terrible. Like that's a terrible business model. Do 4 or 5 engagements for free and say, listen, I'm starting this practice. I'm good at what I do. I will work for you for free. In exchange, I would like an honest testimonial of what your experience was like that I can use for sales. You're talking to business owners. They're going to get that you need testimonials for sales. But the real hidden value is that if you kick so much butt, they're going to tell like, say you go to a dermatologist and you crush it there. The dermatologists talk to other dermatologists about their business. They're going to be like, oh, like I know a cyber guy now, and you can be that guy. So that's the best practice. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. I hope everyone is straight crushing it. Bill's crushing it. Fleetus is crushing it. I'm doing okay myself. Super pumped, guys. Everybody have a great day. Thank you, Fleetus and Bill, for joining the panel. Everybody keep crushing it. Yep, my pleasure. And until next time, everyone, stay secure.